Welcome to my Tennessee kitchen. Today we're going to be making zucchini bread, and we actually like it better than banana bread. You could substitute bananas in place of this, but we prefer it to be zucchinis. And it takes 3 cups of chopped real fine zucchini up, and mine is a little watery here, but that's because I just took it out of the freezer. We had a good crop this year in our garden, and I froze some, so it's got a little bit more liquid in it than you would normally see if you just did the fresh zucchini, but we use it all year long. And we're going to add our ingredients now, and we're going to start off with adding our dry ingredients, and that is 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar, and in this little cup, I'm going to give you the exact measurements. It's going to be salt, baking powder, and baking soda. And the amount is 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 a teaspoon of baking powder. And we're going to add that in. I'm going to go ahead and mix that a little bit so we'll have our dry ingredients kind of mixed up before we ever add all the other. Now this may seem a little extra dry to you when you get it in a batter form, and what you will do is you'll either add a little bit more of the cooking oil or another egg. And so now let's get the rest of our ingredients, and I'm going to put my recipe file up here so I can make sure I get everything. Oh, I forgot my other dry ingredient. It's 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now if you don't like a lot of cinnamon, or you like more cinnamon, you can add it to it, but try it at least once according to this recipe, and then you can decide if you need it more or not. And I've got 2 loaf pans here that are sprayed with cooking oil, and you could cut this recipe in half, but I always make the 2 loaves because we can freeze it, and it freezes really well. Or if you want to take it to someone maybe that's having a bad day, or maybe sick or something and not able to cook a lot for themselves, you may want to take that spare loaf of the zucchini bread to them. So let's get the rest of our ingredients in here. And that's going to be 1 cup of cooking oil. And I am going to write that all in here. And I'm going to have 2 eggs that are lightly beaten. And like I said, if the recipe seems a little thick, and sometimes it does, I don't know why, I add that 3rd egg. But most of the time I just add the 2 eggs. Beat it up lightly, and we're going to put that in. And our last thing we're going to add in here is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And if you like that real good vanilla taste, you may want to add a little bit more. So we're going to mix it all up. Now there's an optional step to this, and it is you can add nuts if you want. And I usually always do, because my husband and I like it best with walnuts in it. And I usually add about actually 4 ounces. But I only had 2 ounces of the chopped walnuts today. But I had in another pack about 2 ounces of pecans. So I'm going to split the recipe here a little bit after I get it all mixed up. So I will have, one's going to have pecans in it and one's going to have walnuts. But like I said, we mostly do just the walnuts, because I like the flavor of the walnuts in it best. And it is going to be a fairly thick batter. And I got an extra bowl but to the side, but I may just go ahead and, instead of messing up that extra bowl, just put it in and add it. No, let's do it the proper way. Let's go ahead and mix about half of it. And as you can see, it's mixed real good. It's kind of thick. And you may have some of the clumps of the flour, since I didn't mix it first. I already put it in with that zucchini. If I'd have mixed it all together first, it probably wouldn't have been. But it's not many clumps. So let me just stir it just a couple more times to get those out. And I think I've got that all mixed up. By the way, I have my oven preheating to 350. And it says let it cook about an hour, but I'm going to check on it in about 45 minutes just to see how it does. And looks like I've got about half in each, and that's when I'll add my pecans to one and my walnuts to the other. Now I have made it a lot of times without any nuts at all, and it's really, really good that way too. But anyway, we're going to do the walnuts in one, pecans in the other, and I'm going to cook it, like I said, for probably a whole hour. I usually end up having to cook it for a whole hour because, as you can see, it's pretty thick and everything. But we're going to put it in our pans and then put it in the oven. But I will check it in 45 minutes, and then I'll let you know just how long it took me to get it done. We now have the walnuts in this one. And by the way, they are both chopped walnuts and chopped pecans. And there's the other one over here. Put this aside and get our pecans in there mixed up. I don't know, it might even taste good with cashews. I've never tried it that way. I have tried it with pecans before, and it's pretty good. But like I said, my favorite is the walnuts. I just didn't have enough walnuts in the pantry to do it, and we're in the mood for having zucchini bread. So you use what you have, and like I said, I could have even made it without any nuts at all. So now into the oven it goes, and I'll let you know how they turn out. 58 minutes later, we have zucchini bread ready, and I am going to let it cool just a little while before I cut them. Well, we've got our 2 loaves of zucchini bread here, and we're fixing to cut one. I'm just going to scoop this one to the side and give it a taste test. And I thought I was going to need that spatula, but I don't think I will. I might to get it out. It crumbled just a little bit, but that's okay. And this is the one that's made with pecans. Well, this slice crumbled just a little bit. Sometimes that first slice coming out, I probably should have let it cool just a little bit longer and maybe got it out of my bowl before I cut it. But I wanted it warm, and so got a piece of the zucchini bread that's warm and a nice cold glass of milk. It doesn't get any better than that. So let's just give it a taste test here. And I did mention at the beginning, a lot of people don't like to see the green on the outside of the zucchini. I put mine real tender, and I use the peeling and all. I just cut off the ends and, chop it up in my blender and freeze it. That is really good and nice and warm and very filling. Like I said, I've got 2 loaves. I can either freeze the extra one or give it away. But I hope you'll try this recipe. I think you'll enjoy it. Of course, you can do options to it if you like. After you make the first one, you may just want to make a half a batch, so you'll end up with 1 loaf, and see if you liked it more sweet or more zucchini to it, or with nuts or without nuts. And you may just, like I said, want to do a half a batch and make 1 loaf just to see how it is. But I'm fixing to, while it's still warm, finish off my slice here with a glass of milk. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a good day.